on all of that, Jessica Anderson is here, president of the Sentinel Action Fund, and Jessica Tarlov, co-host of The Five. Welcome to you, ladies. Good to have you here this morning. First up, what will the impact, do you believe, Jessica, what do you believe will be on this Trump probe, I should say, on the election? Is it going to help or hurt?
Well, right now, it's certainly helping the former president. Everyone that is a supporter of him, his base, they see this and they see the two-tier justice system that's in place. The DOJ that's going after parents, it's going after pregnancy resource centers. Now it's going after a former president, who's really running the field. And the political opponent that is against him is directing all of it. So base voters on the right, they see this. It helps Trump. It endears them more to him. They feel like they could come after him next. It only helps in the primary. The question is it going to help in the general? The verdict's still out on that.
Fair point. Part of what you're saying was echoed by Speaker McCarthy. He was with Jesse last night. Soundbite number 2 here. Watch.
Every time President Trump goes up in the polls, they come after him. This is one of the fundamental reasons why, when we took the majority, we created the weaponization committee, because we are going after this. This is wrong.
All right, from one Jessica to the other on this. Then.
This shift in what the two-tiered system of justice in America means is like so astounding to me. So we used to talk about it, that there was a two-tiered system of justice for black and brown young men in this country who were being put behind bars because of drug offenses. And now we're talking about white billionaires who were presidents of the United States of America. It is so utterly off base what's going on in that kind of description. And that Speaker McCarthy, by the way, someone who was on tape talking about how they did the Benghazi hearings to lower Hillary Clinton's polling numbers in 2016, when he was talking to Sean Hannity about that. He knows a thing or two about diversion, and that is absolutely not what's going on here.
But this dual system of justice is seen because they're comparing.
Why?
Just because they look at the laptop and they think all the information is there. Here is your evidence, act on it.
Okay, so the laptop, by the way, was presented to Donald Trump's administration. So his FBI director that he hand-selected after he fired Jim Comey, Christopher Wray, Trump guy. Bill Barr declined to do something about it. That was his AG. This isn't some large liberal Biden conspiracy.
Well, when the whistleblowers show up today at 1 o'clock, it'll be continued then.
Honestly, I welcome any legitimate whistleblower to tell their story about what has happened. But the Republicans are running around like Elise Stefanik, Kevin McCarthy, Jim Comer, saying that Jack Smith did this yesterday because he was really scared of what Gary Shapley had to say. This is the result of grand juries. This is not unelected officials just standing there saying, oh, I really hate this guy. And how many indictments is it going to take for people to admit that maybe this man is just committing a lot of crimes?
If it's Trump and Biden, there could be a third party out there. I mean, they're making noise, Jessica, up in New Hampshire. David Axelrod tweeted this. He said, this is so disingenuous. The most successful third party effort in modern times was Ross Perot. He got 19%. It is as certain as anything in politics. No labels will be spoilers. And highly likely in favor of Trump and the Republicans. Now, why do they think a third party works against only Joe Biden?
Well, they're making a ton of progress right now. They're actually getting on the ballot in battleground states like Arizona. It's not just in the Northeast. So we do need to pay attention to it. But I don't think Joe Biden needs any help in lowering the desperate cries of the American people right now. They see the left and what it's presented. They see the right, voters do. And they're going to be very clear about what is it going to take to turn around our country, to secure the border, to help the economy. And a third-party candidate is not going to scratch that itch. And so usually these things fizzle out. I think history has borne that out over the last, handful of decades. I think that will happen again now. But what I would watch is actually how the left is using election law changes like this support for ranked choice voting in some states, which actually begins to confuse voters about how they're supposed to go about the election process. And so these two things at play, the rise of ranked choice, the third party, it's going to muddy the waters. And the Republican Party, if it was smart, it would double down, make sure that it's easy to vote, hard to cheat, and that people have a clear pathway to vote come election
Well, Senator
day.
Joe Manchin, he says this is about people having options, voters having options, and he says the reason is political parties have gone too far to the extremes. Here's Manchin.
We're here to make sure that the American people have an option, and the option is, can you move the political parties off their respective sides? They've gone too far right and too far left. If that movement can move, but that can't be done unless they're threatened. The only way you can threaten is have people out there that says, listen, they can't win. Either side can't win without the independent.
He says this would pose a threat to the two major political parties into tacking towards more moderate positions as their only path to victory.
No, it's just going to shave off the right amount of percentage points from the Democratic side to ensure that whoever the Republican is, and it looks like it is going to be Donald Trump as the nominee, is going to win. The No Labels Party, which, by the way, is dark money funded. We don't know who's backing it. And Joe Manchin loves to rail against dark money, but happy to be sitting up there with them. They've shown their map of what they think they could pick off. And guess what happens if they pick up those states? Joe Biden loses. States like Arizona, states like Georgia, states like Michigan. So it's very disingenuous the way that he's presenting it. I think he's scared of Jim Justice and what's going on in his home state.
Manchin's going to mansion. This is what he does.
Early days. We'll see how it goes.
We will.
JT and JA.
Thank you.
I like the new setup. Thank you, ladies.